Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are watching Hums Up TV and I am Muneeb Hamid with the news.
United States to announce further action against Pakistan in 24 to 48 hours, White House. A day after Washington confirmed suspending $255 million of military aid to Pakistan, the White House said that further action against Pakistan would be announced in the next 24 to 48 hours. Addressing a daily press briefing on Wednesday, U.S. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said that the actions being taken against Islamabad by Washington are a follow-up to Trump's South Asia policy announced last year. The president is simply following through on a commitment that he made, she said, referring to Trump's speech in what he accused Pakistan of not fulfilling its obligations. We can no longer be silent about Pakistan's safe havens for terrorist organizations, Trump has said that in last year, August, warning that vital aid could be cut. We know that Pakistan can do more to fight terrorism and we want them to step up and do that, the press secretary said on Wednesday, adding that Trump feels Pakistan is not doing enough to combat terrorism. She said that information on further action against Pakistan would be made available over the next couple of days. Pakistan can review cooperation with US if it is not appreciated, says Maliha Lodhi. Pakistan's ambassador to the United Nations, Maliha Lodhi, commented on the United States administration's aggressive remarks against Pakistan and said that Islamabad could review its cooperation if it is not appreciated. Referring to U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley's comments on a day earlier where she had accused Pakistan of playing a double game with no U.S., Lodhi cautioned against shifting the blame for the U.S. own mistakes and failures onto others. Speaking to the media on Wednesday, Lodhi said that Pakistan has contributed and sacrificed the most in fighting international terrorism. The diplomat added that Pakistan's role in the war against terrorism did not depend on US aid but on national interest and principles. Federal government focusing on eliminating street crime from Karachi, Governor Sindh Mohammad Zubair. Sindh Governor Mohammad Zubair has said the government is now focusing on elimination of street crime from Karachi after bringing terrorism, extortion, targeted killing and kidnapping for ransom under control. He was talking to a group of traders led by All City Tajir Ittihad President Hamad Poonawala, recalling the sacrifices and role of armed forces, rangers and police in the restoration of peace in Karachi. He said the government would not let their efforts go to waste. Rangers will remain deployed in the metropolis to maintain law and order. Nawaz Maryam appear before accountability court in Islamabad. Former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his daughter Maryam Nawaz appeared before an accountability court in Islamabad on Wednesday as a hearing into 3 corruption references filed against the Sharifs by the National Accountability Bureau went underway. Strict security arrangements were made in the area surrounding the accountability court ahead of the former premier's appearance there. Maryam's husband, retired Captain Mohammad Safdar, also appeared before the court today. During today's hearing, the prosecution presented 2 more witnesses before accountability judge Muhammad Bashir. While recording his testimony in the court, Tasneem Khan, an officer at Inland Revenue, presented the income and wealth tax records of Nawaz and his children. Speaking to the media after the hearing, Nawaz said that the judiciary had favored Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf (PTI) chairman Imran Khan by giving him a clean chit in the disqualification case against him. Opposition calls for review of ties with United States. Opposition parties reached sharply to the U.S. President's provocative New Year's Day tweet on Tuesday, with most calling for a review of Pakistan's relationship with Washington in the wake of Donald Trump's remarks. Leader of the opposition in the National Assembly, Syed Khurshid Shah, demanded that the government convene a joint sitting of parliament to give President Donald Trump a unified response to his recent statements against Pakistan, saying that this was not a partisan issue but a matter of concern for all parties. He demanded that Pakistan review its policy towards the US. Trump threatens North Korea with a much bigger nuclear button. United States President Donald Trump warned Kim Jong-un on Tuesday that he has a much bigger nuclear button than that of North Korean leader, as Washington dismissed the prospect of high-level talks between Pyongyang and Seoul. Trump launched the highly personal missive on Twitter hours after his ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, described the proposed dialogue between the two Koreas as a band aid and said Washington would never accept a nuclear-armed Pyongyang. Trump said North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful than his, and my button works also. Trump threatens stops to Palestinian aid over Jerusalem row. U.S. may stop aid payments to Palestinians who are no longer willing to talk peace, President Trump said on Twitter. Mr. Trump said the United States received no appreciation or respect in return for his aid. He also said his controversial recognition of the contested city of Jerusalem as Israel's capital took the hugely divisive issue off the table for new peace talks. Palestinians had said the move showed the U.S. could not be a neutral broker. Soon after Washington's decision was announced in December, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said he would not accept any U.S. peace plan for the Middle East. New Israeli law makes it harder to cede East Jerusalem. Israel's parliament passed an amendment on Tuesday that would make it harder for it to cede control over parts of Jerusalem in any peace deal with Palestinians, who condemned the move as undermining any chance to revive talks on statehood. The legislation, sponsored by the far-right Jewish Home Coalition Party, raises to 80 from 61 the number of votes required in a 120-seat Knesset to approve any proposal to hand over the city to a foreign party. Last month, U.S. President Donald Trump angered the Palestinians, Middle East leaders and world powers by recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. As home to major Muslim, Jewish and Christian holy sites, Jerusalem's status is one of the most sensitive issues in the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Trump's December 6 decision sparked regional protests and prompted the Palestinians to rule out Washington as a peace broker in any future talks. Riyadh's use of anti-terror laws against activists deplored. United Nations human rights experts deplored Saudi Arabia's continued use of counter-terrorism and security-related laws against human rights defenders, then urged the release of all those detained for peacefully exercising their rights, said a press statement issued on Tuesday. The rights to freedom of expression and peacefully assembly are severely restricted in Saudi Arabia, the group said in the joint statement. Religious figures, writers, journalists, academics, and civil activists are being targeted, along with members of the banned Saudi Civil and Political Rights Association, in a worrying pattern of widespread and systematic arbitrary arrest and detention, they continued. We are witnessing the persecution of human rights defenders for peacefully exercising their rights to freedom of expression, assembly, association, and belief, as well as in retaliation for their work. The government has ignored repeated calls by UN experts and others to halt these violations, rectify them, and prevent their recurrence. Saudi minister resumes work after detention. A Saudi minister who was detained in a sweeping anti-government probe at a Riyadh hotel attended a cabinet meeting on Tuesday after he was proven innocent. The official Saudi press agency posted on its Twitter account pictures of Saudi King Salman, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the minister Ibrahim Asaf at the meeting. Saudi newspaper Sabq, which is close to the government, said the Asaf resumed work on Tuesday after being recently proven innocent and leaving the Ritz-Carlton. Asaf, a minister of state and ex-finance minister, was among more than 200 princes, ministers and businessmen rounded up in November in an anti-corruption purge. Most of those detained were held at the Palatial Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Riyadh. The purge came as Prince Mohammed, heir to the powerful throne, consolidated his grip on the Gulf Kingdom. North Korea to reopen hotline to South to discuss Olympics. North Korea has said it will reopen a hotline to South Korea to facilitate talks on its possible participation in the Winter Olympics. It comes after Kim Jong-un said he was open to dialogue with Seoul and to sending a team to the Games. The two nations have not held high-level talks since December 2015. The following year, North Korea cut off the communication channel, refusing to answer calls, according to officials in the south. A North Korean official announced the hotline's reopening in a televised statement on Tuesday. He said the two nations would discuss the practical issues around a proposal to send a North Korean delegation to the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea in February. We will discuss working-level issues over our potential dispatch of the delegation, Yonhap quoted the official saying. United States CENTCOM commander wants more aggressive Afghan push this year. The top American commander for the Middle East wants a more aggressive Afghan military pressuring Taliban and other insurgents over the normally quieter months of Afghanistan's winter and then quickly going on to the offensive in the spring. It's all part of a plan the United States hopes will change the course of war now entering its 17th year. General Joseph Votel of the U.S. Central Command said an influx of new American trainers can help escalate the fight. They'll be operating with Afghan units closer to the front lines and at greater risk, but Votel said U.S. commanders will ensure American and allied forces have adequate protection. The goal is to get the Afghan military moving on its military campaign sooner rather than later. The United States wants the focus on offensive operations and will look for a major effort to gain the initiative very quickly as we enter into the fighting season. Door open to yuan-based trade with China State Bank of Pakistan. The State Bank of Pakistan made it clear that all arrangements for using Chinese yuan for bilateral trade as well as financing investments activity between Pakistan and China are already in place. On December 19, 2017, Minister for Planning and Development Ahsan Iqbal said that the government was considering a Chinese proposal to use renminbi, RMB or yuan instead of the US dollar for payments in a bilateral trade between China and Pakistan. More than 10 vehicles involved in a terrifying accident. Gujarat, due to bad weather and massive fog, more than 10 vehicles got involved in an accident on Rahmaniya Bridge in the city of Gujarat. According to rescue officials, more than 20 people were injured in the incident and were taken to Aziz Bhatti Shaheed Hospital. It is reported that after this incident, there has been a traffic blockage on Rawalpindi Highway, and as a result of the citizens are facing transport issues. And now the sports news. Lack of local heroes makes PSL franchises look strangers. Almost all 6 Pakistan Super League franchises aren't in a mood to give maximum representation to players belonging to their respective cities. And apart from a few, the 2020 inductees in each franchises are most likely cricketers from other regions, cities plus the mandatory quota of overseas stars. And now the weather update for the next 24 hours. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country. However, rain, thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected at isolated places in Malakand, Hazara, Rawalpindi divisions, Upper Fata, Islamabad, North Balochistan, Dhob, Quetta divisions, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir. Dense foggy conditions are likely to prevail over plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh during night and morning hours.
That's all for now. For more news and updates, keep watching Hums Up TV. Take care. Please subscribe to Hums Up TV and hit the notification icon on the screen to get the latest updates of our channel. Thank you for watching Hums Up TV.